Okay, so basically in the new release of Revit 2021, there is no significant feature for rebar modeling, but it does provide the user with a greatly improved and enhanced rebar modeling compared to the previous version. Many of you who are familiar with Rebar modeling, and for some of you who have been in our training, always ask us on how you can add more detail in your Rebar modeling to make it more relevant as per what you will see on site, and also how you can actually create your Rebar modeling with a high level of detail. So in the new release, Revit has added few rebar shape in order to provide you with a model with high level of detail. So today I'm going to show you on how you can create a rebar chair for your floor rebar. So with that, we're going to create a floor, a structural floor, and add in our area rebar, and then we're going to put in our chair rebar. So with that, I'm going to go ahead to create a new model. Okay, so I'm going to use matrix structural template. I'm going to create a new project. Okay, so now I'm going to go to the level 1. So in here, I'm going to create a structural floor first. So here, I'm going to go to floor and then create a floor structural. And then just simply use the rectangle to create a perfectly rectangle floor. Okay, so this is the direction, the major direction of the span direction of my floor. So I'm going to click on finish. So I use floor generate 300 millimeter on level 1. So after that, if I wanted to create the rebar for my floor, I can simply just go to area, structural area reinforcement, and then just click on my floor here, and then click on OK. So here I can create a structure area reinforcement. So here I'm going to click on rectangle. So I'm going to give it a little bit of offset of 300 so that the rebar will be negative 300 in the floor. So here, just make sure that the direction of my rebar is actually the same as my span direction. So I'm going to click on OK, finish. Okay, so now you will see something like this. So here you can see that I actually have created the rebar on my floor. So I'm going to look into the 3D view. So you will see that now you have your rebar for your floor. Okay, so of course, if you put it into shaded, you cannot see the rebar that you have in that. So with that, I'm going to click on my area rebar, and then I'm going to change the graphic view visibility state. I'm going to click on edit, and then I'm going to make it to view as solid for my 3D view. So you will see now you have your rebar to be in a solid shape, and you can also see it regardless if you put it into shaded. Okay, so I'm going to look into it in the right elevation view. Okay, so here what you can do is that first I'm going to click on this structural rebar, and then we can now change the properties. So this is something that have been along with Revit 2020. So I'm just going to add the top cover and the bottom cover to be 30. So you will see that it moves a little bit to the center. And then I'm going to actually change the type. So here I have layers in my structural area reinforcement. So for the top measure bar type, I'm going to leave it to 13M, and then I'm going to have a hook measure of 180 degree. Okay, so you will see something like this. If I put it into front, you will see something like this. Okay, and then the major spacing, I'm going to leave it as it is, 300 millimeter. And then the top minor bar type, I'm going to put in as 10M. And then I'm not going to put any hook type here. And then the minor spacing, I'm going to put it as 400. Okay, so I'm just going to change the bottom measure bar tab to be 16mm, a little bit thicker. And then here the hook type I'm going to put in as 90 degree. So you have something like this. And then change the spacing to be 200, and lastly 13mm and 300mm spacing. So that is what I have in my Revit. So I'm going to put in my chair bar right now. But before that, because I do not want us to get confused in between the rebar that we have, so I'm going to create a filter. So for my top rebar, I'm going to put the comment as top rebar, and then here I'm going to put in the filter for bottom rebar. So now I'm going to create a filter. So remember just now I said that we have a new column for enable filter. So that is the only new addition that you have in the filter. But in order for you to create the filter, it's pretty much the same step. So I'm going to create a filter for the top rebar. I'm going to find structural rebar here, and then based on comments that I have put in earlier, and then top rebar. Okay, and then I'm going to duplicate and rename it for BR, bottom rebar. Okay, just make sure I put in structural rebar here, and then comments to be equal to bottom rebar, BR. Okay, so now I have two things here. Okay, so now I'm going to add this into my filter list, and then just override the pattern to be solid fill with color, and then here as solid fill to be in maybe this color. Okay, going to apply it. So you see that we have different color. So now I'm going to show you on how you can add more details. So basically this is what you always do, maybe in your floor reinforcement. So for now, if you wanted to add more details into your project, so what you can do is that I'm going to go into my floor plan here. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the structure tab, and then I'm going to move into the structural rebar. Okay, so here in the new tab that I have here, so I can scroll down to see there is a few rebar shape that we have as a new addition to this new update. So with that, you're going to find M26, which is in the shape of this one. Okay, so this is what I'm going to use for my rebar chair. So I'm going to change this to be near cover reference and parallel to cover. So you can see that now you can actually place it around here. So I can just simply put it here first. And then I'm going to click on it and go to the 3D view. And straight away, I'm going to change the view visibility state. So I'm going to click on edit, and I'm going to view this as solid. Okay, so you can see that is my rebar chair. But of course, you will want to actually change the shape and everything. So I'm just going to drag it to be a little bit smaller. So I'm going to zoom a bit. Okay, so I'm just going to leave it here. And of course, because this is too big, I'm going to create a selection box. Okay, so now we can see it clearly. So if this shape is not relevant to you, what you can do is that you can actually click on your space bar to change the shape. Okay, so this is the shape that I'm going to use. So here you can see you can simply just drag your rebar. So here we have the control point. So you can actually make it a little bit smaller here to here. And then you can also move it a little bit to the center. So there you go. Now you have your rebar check. Another new thing that are added into this thing is that whenever you have any rebar with hook, so for example, here my the rebar shape that I have used, I have put in my hook. Here I have hook at start, and hook at end. So whatever rebar shape that you have, so if you use different shape, once you have a hook at start or at the end, what it gives you is that you have now a new parameter named override the hook length. Okay, so how we're going to play around the hook length is that, so if you go a little bit down here, you will see all the dimension in regards to your structural rebar. So you can see that for B and F, this is something that are grayed out, which means you cannot make any edit or anything. But let's see if I click on this override hook length, now you see that the B and F is now editable. So you can actually change this to be your desired number. So if I change this to be 150, you can see that this actually become a little bit shorter. So if I put in 180, so you will see something like this. Okay, so that is on hook length. So I'm just going to give you one more example on the hook length, because this is something that are always asked in the classes that we have done previously. So what if you have some hook that you wanted, maybe the hook is a little bit too long for you or a little bit too short for you. So previously we cannot done anything with that particular issue. So with the new edition of Revit update, so it actually allows you to create to actually adjust your hook length. So by the way, for this rebar chain, okay, so if you wanted to have it more, so you can actually just go to copy. So I'm just going to put it as wireframe, and then you can copy this to your desired places. So if I put it here and so on, so it will be all along your project. So what I'm going to show you for the last thing for structural update is that about the hook length. So here I'm going to rebar, and then I'm just going to put in M20 for example. So I'm just going to put it somewhere in the middle. Okay. Wait. Okay. So I'm just going to put it somewhere along this area. And then I'm going to click on it, go to 3D view, quickly change this into view visibility state to be view as solid. And then I'm going to make a selection box. Okay, and then I'm going to make it a little bit shorter. Okay, so selection box again. So here you have your rebar shape. So what I'm going to show you is that here, of course, I have no hook. So if I change this to have hook, so now I have the hook here and I add another hook at the end for 90 degree. So after that, you will see that now you have the option to actually override the hook length. Again, if you click on the override hook length, you actually have the option to change the value here. Okay, so if you unclick on this, you will see that the value for A and E is actually grayed out. So if you click on the override hook length, you can now change the hook length of this particular structural rebar. So that is on the update that we have. Even though it is very simple, just one addition of parameter for rebar, it actually gives you a lot of benefit in terms of how you're going to model your structural rebar.